we're going to get into a little bit of men's health in a way, because our next speaker was a guy who was actually an American Gladiator known as Nitro. He was very fit, and people, would look at him and say, this guy is like a god. He's everything that you would aspire to be as an athlete, and somebody that's a powerful physical being. And then he suddenly, out of the blue, around age 50, had a major heart attack and could not believe that this was happening to him when he thought that he was so healthy. But what he discovered as a result of this, and what he's about to share with all of you today, is not to be missed. So please give a warm welcome to Dan Clark, otherwise known as Nitro. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fran, for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
They told me I had to sprint up here. I said, I don't know about sprint. How's everyone doing today? Good. I know you guys have been sitting for a while, so I'm all about health and fitness. I understand how the body works and functions, so I want everybody to stand up. Yay, let's stand up a little bit. And she right here is doing the right thing. The first thing I want everybody to do is, as you guys know, when you eat, that's blood dives to your digestive system in your stomach, and it's all there right now. We need to get it up, so everyone, let's put our hands up. Let's make a little bit of noise. Ah! Exhale, put them back down. One more time. Bring them up, deep breath. Big ah. This is the last one. Everyone here, get ready, follow me. Get your hands and feet going, stomp them. Let's go. And we'll say 1, 2, 3, cancer smasher. All right, good. So now we're all a little bit awake here. So as Fran, and I have notes because I'm not a professional. And also, I'm not here to talk about cancer. I'm sorry. So my name is Dan Clark. I'm a former NFL player. I also am a celebrity health and fitness expert. I also used to do, as Fran said, this show called American Gladiators on TV. I think you're all much too young and dignified to probably watch that show. Anybody know what that show is? Yeah, weren't those outfits ridiculous? I mean, people are like, what's your claim to fame? And I said, I wore spandex on TV, okay? Leave me alone. So after Gladiators, I went and carved out a career for myself in a bunch of different things, but one of the main things was being a fitness expert. I consulted and coached and trained and wrote articles about how to live a happier, healthier, more fit life. And I've always been like in the upper 1 percentile of health and fitness for my age. Then on December 2013, the strangest thing happened. I was working out, feeling healthy and fit as ever, and I started to feel a pinch in my chest. Yeah, uh-oh. And then I got shortness of breath. And I was like, what's going on? Never once did it enter my mind that I could be having a heart attack. I did the dumbest thing possible. Just like a man, I went back and started working out again. This can't be happening to me. I kept going back and back because I just couldn't believe at 49 years old, being in perfect health, that I could be having a heart attack. Finally, the pain got so intense that I had to drop to my knees. I'm in a cold sweat, and I'm subconsciously shaking my left arm. It was at that moment I was like, oh shit. Something's wrong. Ambulance takes me to the hospital. They performed surgery, and I lived. I lived. I'm here. I'm here. And I went home, though, and I said, and I asked my cardiologist, I said, how could this happen to me? And he said, yeah, it just happens. He says, with the healthy people, it's the most puzzling to us. We don't have a lot of answers when you're healthy. Just take these 4 medicines for the rest of your life, and, you lived, you're lucky. And he said, and, in heart attacks, you only have minor heart damage. And I said, well, what do you mean minor? He said, well, you're 10% of your heart's destroyed. You know, your EKG will never be normal, but take these 4 pills, go home. And it just didn't sit right with me. You know, it just didn't sit right with me. I don't really have a history of heart disease. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had to investigate a little bit further. It's just how I am. So I started reading miles and miles of research about heart attacks, what causes heart disease, and some of the things I found out were like shocking. Heart disease, it's the #1 killer in the world. Does everyone know that? #1 killer in the world. Women, once you pass 50, nobody here. Nobody here. I see a bunch of beautiful girls here. Once you pass 50, your chance for heart disease, heart attack increase by 4 times. What I also learned about my own struggle was that I believed one big lie that the Food and Drug Administration, that a lot of the other experts were telling us, that I was telling people. I believed that eating fat, eating cholesterol, made you fat and caused heart disease. So I was one of those guys, you go out to eat with me, I'm always kind of an annoying guy who orders. Oh, is that non-fat bread? Okay. Oh, no butter, I need fake butter. Oh, no oils, no peanut butters, no anything. I had completely stripped fat out of my diet. Has anybody else got those big non-fat muffins and eaten those? Yes? No person has ever eaten a non-fat muffin in here, right? And when you go to the store, I'd be like, I need skim milk. I had almost 0 fat in my diet. By not having any fat in my diet, I robbed myself of something essential to living, fats. But I also lowered my HDL, my good cholesterol, to dangerously low levels. It was 20. You want to be 60 and above. So I went on a crusade and started to understand a little bit more about the body, about eating good fats. And I came away with the knowledge that eating fats, good fats, avocados, coconut oil, butter from grass-fed cows, cheeses, this, you know, obviously organic, non-GMO, is essential to life. And it was hard for me at first start eating fat, especially as someone who's had a heart attack and especially someone who's kind of manic about their physical appearance. I was a really fat little kid, and every time I look in the mirror, I still see a chubby kid. So I was always very, very obsessed, you know, with physical appearance. So when I started eating like butter, I started taking a tablespoon of coconut oil in the morning. When I started eating whole yogurt from grass-fed cows, Trader Joe's has got a great one. When I started eating 2 avocados a day, when I started eating a handful of nuts, I was like, oh my God, that fat little kid's gonna come back. The shocking thing about it was, the more fat I ate, the less hungry I was, the better I felt, and the most astonishing part, backed by science, and my cardiologist was astonished, was my blood work completely changed. My cholesterol, which was 120, went down to 50. My HDL, which was 20, 22, went up to 55. It doubled. My triglycerides, which happens, you know, was supposed to happen if you eat fat, it plummeted to 50. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing everything you told me not to do." I'm eating good fats every day. I'm exercising. So over the course of a year, I completely weaned myself off 3 of the medications. Thanks. Because I'm a big scaredy cat and I don't want to die, I still take a very small dose statin. I take Lipitor, but he prescribed me 80 milligrams. The recommended minimum dose is 10 milligrams. I break that pill in half. I take 5 milligrams of Lipitor a day because I believe it does stuff for inflammation markers, which is also a whole other subject when it comes to health, and I believe it helps there. And we had an argument over this. He said to me, "Dan, you know, you can't take less than the recommended dose. There's been no tests, there's no efficacy, there's no this, that." And I said, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to take this little half dose, and if my blood work isn't astonishing again, I will go up." And he says, "Okay, I've never done this with a patient, deal." So I went back and did my blood work again, and you know, thank it was astonishing again. So I'm so grateful, to be here. And, it's interesting because I know many people here either have a direct, I'm going to talk about cancer. I couldn't help it. Have a direct relationship with someone who has cancer or has suffered from themselves. And this brought to mind a story, not a story, something that happened to me this weekend. This weekend, we had to do an intervention for my younger brother. He's an alcoholic. And, it was emotional and it was tough and it was all that stuff to try to get him to save himself because he was dying. His blood alcohol was 0.40 and he was dying and he wouldn't go to the hospital. It took 3 hours to convince him to get there. And on the drive over, he says to me, he goes, you're really lucky. And I says, why am I lucky? Because you're so brave. And I said, and he goes, I just don't have a lot of courage. And I said, John, I'm scared every single day of my life. Every time I exercise and I feel my heart beat in my chest, there's that fear in the back of my mind that I may die. And I said, the difference is between courageous people and fearful people is courageous people still feel fear, but they act. And so I just want to say I'm so proud of everyone here for coming here, getting information, for attending, for supporting Cancer Smancer, coming to the seminar, and being brave. So give yourself a hand for being brave and fighting every day to be here. The last takeaway, they asked me to give like a triad of things to take away for men and for women about how I live my life and what are the 3 key things to health that make a difference in my life and how my life has changed. Well, since the heart attack, I think the biggest change in my life on a spiritual level is having a greater appreciation for life. And I'm sure anyone here who's a cancer survivor, that's the first thing you see right there, right? It's a greater appreciation for life, right? I believe by almost dying, it's made me a better man, and I've learned that the gateway to happiness is through gratitude and appreciation. So one of the things I do for men's health is I have a gratitude practice and I have a meditation practice. I meditate every morning 15 minutes. When I'm done and I'm still in a good state, I always list in my mind and feel 3 things I'm grateful for in my life. That has changed my life tremendously. It's allowed me to pursue and appreciate the smaller things in life. I think too many times we're looking for the big things, the job, the promotion. The happiness, the juice in life is in those smaller moments. So I'll say to everyone, please start a gratitude practice. Number 2, eat your damn fats. Eat your damn fats. Right now, your average American eats 150 pounds of sugar, 146 pounds of flour that is processed in your body like sugar. Eat your good fats, eat your avocados, your nuts, your butters. Go non-GMO, go local produced, go organic, go grass-fed. And number 3, exercise. Exercise. So I leave you guys with that triad. And again, thank you guys so much for having me here. I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.